Bat Force Radio.
Bat Force Radio is rated M for mature, or should that be immature?
Hey guys, Dustin Wynn.
Hey, this is Scott Snyder.
This is Paul Dini.
And you're listening to Bat Force Radio.
And you're listening to Bat Force Radio.
You're listening to Bat Force Radio.
This is Kevin Conroy, the voice of Batman, and you're listening to Bat Force Radio, so stay tuned.
Man, I love that intro. But ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 16 of the Everything Batman podcast. Today's guest has been cosplaying for 3 years, has been creating cosplays for 4. It is a mother, a wife, and geologist.
I'm a geologist.
That is fucking amazing. Everyone, please welcome Susie.
So great to be here. Thank you for inviting me.
Yeah, no problem. I just started following you about a couple of months ago, and I started like backtracking everything you've been working on. And I was just like, she's working on all this stuff. And you're very active in the cosplay community. And a lot of people don't know that unless you're a cosplayer for the most part. And as you can see in your background, you're really active with creating things. And I'm just honored to have you on here. A lot of people I've had on the podcast has mentioned, said great things about you, and it just adds on to the community and how I know how grateful everyone is working together. So thank you very much for taking time of your night and hanging out, especially after a basketball game.
Yeah, little kids basketball game, just back and forth, and yes, it was fun. It was fun.
It's never easy. Oh, but who won?
The other team.
Oh, okay, sorry about
that.
That's just my competitive nature. I always have to ask.
Yeah.
But so Susie, I mentioned you've been cosplaying for 3 years, and you've been creating cosplays for 4. So it's like kind of off a little bit. But what got you into this community?
Well, okay, so probably everybody else's story, right? I loved Halloween. I loved costumes. I actually always enjoyed putting together costume all the way from like when I was in college. I would make something fun, whether it was like taking a bed sheet and creating from 300, a Greek, like a little toga thing, or a full, maybe my first costume that I wore a lot, I'm going to bring her back, is Tomb Raider from the video game.
Sweet.
So
yeah.
I made her as a costume, and I wore her for 3 or 4 Halloweens. But yeah, so I got into Halloween. I was always into Halloween, and then I saw Wonder Woman in 2017, and I was like, I'm gonna give myself a good lots of months to really figure out how to do this good. Partially because I'm tall, right? I'm 6 foot tall. You're tall. I know that too.
Those high five videos. Thanks, Liz.
But yeah, those are so cute. So I can't go to a store and buy a costume from a Halloween costume store. It would be super short and skimpy and not for me. It's not my size. So I decided I would make it myself. And so then I could make the skirt a little bit longer or whatever. And so that's where I really started. Was I took months to make a Wonder Woman costume out of a corset and some vinyl and hot glue, other glues. And that's where it started. And then after that Halloween year, I was like, I really want to, learn how to do more of this. So then I made a Furiosa arm. That was the the year after that, till 2018, I made a crazy arm. And then I got into EVA foam and learning that kind of thing. And that was the year that I went to my first con. But I wore Wonder Woman, the same Halloween costume I made a couple years back. And that's what got me hooked. I went to my first con in costume, and that was it. So.
That's awesome. And,
yeah.
But I hear this about the foam. Again, yes. I'm not familiar with the foam because I haven't tried doing anything myself yet. I'll probably get there. But so what taught you to learn to use that foam, and why is that foam really good to use on cosplays?
So I chose foam because I started watching YouTube videos on like how people make costumes and how people make armor and that sort of thing. And I think it was I started using it because I wanted to make a Captain Marvel outfit, but I can't sew. I'm not very good at sewing. So I wanted to try different things. And so I actually watched a lot of YouTube videos by Kamui Cosplay. I'm not sure if you're familiar with her, but she's just a big builder teacher. She's in Germany. She does armors, right? And lots of video game, like real armors from, I'm not even sure what they're all called.
Those things are intense.
But the methods and everything that she has done, I would say that she taught me everything I know in that sense, watching her videos. But foam is like cheap. You get big rolls of it. You can cut it with scissors. You can cut it with a knife. You glue it with contact cement. Other people use, that's what I use. You can glue it with hot glue. You can make anything out of this semi-flexible foam.
Where do you find it?
So I buy it from like online craft stores. The one I go to is TNT Cosplay Supply, but there's one in generally in every region. But you can buy it at like Joann's, Michael's, and Hobby Lobby. It's just better quality. You know, you go to a store that sells this stuff and you'll get quality. So it's easy to work. It was easy to work with. It's cheap. You can mess it up and throw it away and get some more because a big roll of it is like $8, and that could make like a whole costume depending how big it is, or you get a couple rolls and it's really good. So
I normally hear foam and I'm just like, wait, what? And I never really asked that question, but thank you for clearing that one up.
Yeah.
I do have to ask a joke, and you mentioned earlier bed sheets making like Greek goddesses or whatever. Were you in a sorority?
I was not.
Okay, I had to ask.
Yeah, no, that was one of the Halloween costumes. I was like, I really love 300. Like, that's a great movie. I was like, I just want to be the queen.
Frank Miller, yes, great movie.
Yes, so yeah, I just wanted to. That was I've always been into movies. Movies are the things that catch me wanting to be characters. So
that's awesome. And it's awesome because, movies end up being like a final product of a book or a comic, or a director's vision or a producer's vision. Like there's so much to get from that, and for a movie to impact you is like, there's so many different storylines, other visions to get to that point. So one of my questions, of course, is like, you already mentioned 300, but any other movies like got you besides 300 on Wonder Woman that like guided you on this journey of cosplaying?
I think like all of the superhero movies are basically my guide. Like I love the MCU. I love the DCEU. Like all of those. I love the guys. Like Batman is definitely one of my favorite male characters. So. Thor is the recent version of Thor is also one of my favorite characters. Captain Marvel is a favorite character. I'm still kind of waiting on more of that. Partly because I feel like I have the look for her, which is white blonde, but
nothing wrong with that. Why not?
Yeah, it fits. And so like those, like anything superhero, any like strong female presence, Tomb Raider, all of the Tomb Raiders, all the versions of her. I started really liking those characters. I play back in the day, my dad would play it on a PC with the keys, and I would learn how to do that too. Like first
on a PC?
First or second. Yes. That's really the only way I know how to play video games is the arrow keys and the space bar
and ASX, whatever it
X,
was.
Yeah.
Oh, I remember those.
Yeah. So video games got me into it. Superhero movies are really fun.
Yeah. Did was there any TV shows or cartoons back in the day that got you into that? Because like I could just go on with Saturday morning cartoons or after school Batman animated series and stuff like that just kept my my nerd niche going in.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. And the nostalgia nowadays, especially now, like for Batman animated series, it's going on 30 years. Things like that, like, just keep me into it. But like, did you have anything that like as a child that grasps your attention?
This is something that I really don't have any interest in anymore, but I was really into Star Trek. The Next Generation is like these things I did with my dad, I guess. Like, he loved Star Trek, and so it was like every week it would come out, and he would either record it on the VCR. I'm aging myself. Record it on the VCR, or we would watch it. I get to stay up to watch the episode.
That's awesome.
That. So like that's what I remember as a older, 9-10-year-old. I do remember the only cartoons, morning things that I would catch would be like Shira and He-Man. Loved watching that. Yeah.
So good. Yeah.
And then, but I don't remember much of it. And I haven't gone back to it in a long time. And then I remember watching like Power Rangers and Captain Planet, but I don't like Power Rangers. I don't know much about them. I have no idea. I don't remember that at all. I just know that it was on. So
am I older? I'm probably older because I was so into Power Rangers.
I'm 2 years older than you.
Really? Yes. I was so into like Jason. It was Jason, Kimberly, Zack, Billy.
Yeah. Like I see the actors coming on cons and that sort of thing. I'm like, I remember who they are. Like, they look familiar. I don't know the stories anymore. It didn't stick in my head.
Oh, I was so into it, but I didn't care about anyone but Kimberly, Pink Ranger.
Pink.
So, funny story, because I'm going to Dallas Fan Expo next week, or this week.
Yeah.
Oh crap! It's this week. And before COVID happened, that was my next Comic-Con. It was the end of March. And Friday the 13th, right? That's when everything hit the fan. And everyone was like, 2 weeks to, bend the curve or whatever. And I was like, all right, cool. If everyone does what they have to get done, I could finally meet her, because she was supposed to be at Dallas Fan Expo. And that didn't happen. That just explains the last 2 years. But I was, the only person I cared about was her. I walked past everyone else from that Power Ranger time period, and I'm just like, no, you're not the Pink Ranger. I don't care about you. But I still remember that. It's weird. My first childhood crush. But talking about cons and that, so you mentioned your first con experience. You said you went as Wonder Woman, correct?
Yes, I did. I went
how was that, and which con was it?
It was a Wizard World in Tulsa.
Okay.
They come to Oklahoma maybe every few years. They haven't been here to Oklahoma since then, which was 2019. And that's where I wore Wonder Woman because Jason Momoa was there. And I said, if I'm going to pay to take a picture and meet him, well, just take a picture with him, really. I didn't pay to get a signature or anything like that. I'm going to be wearing Wonder Woman and standing next to him. And I did. And it was the best. I got to take 2 pictures because someone else was like, hey, you're great. Come join my picture. And I was like,
that's awesome.
Yeah.
He is so kind.
Yeah.
He's like one of the best dudes ever. I'm sorry. Continue.
Yeah. I wish I had gotten the signature too, so that I could have like approached and like chatted and said anything. But those photo ops are, it's just like stand in the line, snap the picture, and that's it.
Yeah.
So all I got to do was like on my second go around, I'm like, I'm back. I felt like such a dork, just grinning the whole time in both of the pictures. But it was great. It was great. It was
next time you do the photo op and the autograph. I saw he was doing like, of course this is like pre-COVID. He was doing like piggyback rides. Like he was jumping on people's backs, or like people, he was picking other people up.
Yeah.
And I was like, God damn it. I missed out on that. I was like, I want to do that. I wouldn't mind him jumping on my back. Like whatever. This guy's like the coolest dude ever. He was like, just so friendly, so approachable. But how was the rest of your con experience as cosplaying?
It was great. I was exhausted by the end of that. It was so crazy. You know, like I met a charity group and they're like, come join us. And so I'm still kind of part of that. I do that occasionally when it kind of fits in.
Yeah.
And then like, and just kids and other, like there was other like Wonder Woman cosplayers. I met one of my friends from afar. Like we were we weren't friends at the time. We were just like, hi, hey, you look great. And then like 3 months later, we're like, I'm following you and you're awesome. And let's go out like as a, like, out, let's go out and like hang out and meet each other properly. She was dressed as Mira and I'm like, this is great. So it was a great experience. And I was completely exhausted after that, just being there for like 5 or 6 hours. And like everybody was impressed. I was taking pictures and kids and I loved it. So I was immediately hooked. And then COVID, that was in the fall. Yeah. And then I was like, I'm going to go to one. It would be about this time of year. It's coming up 2 weeks for me, one local. And I was like getting ready. I had started building and finished my Hippolyta cosplay. This lady. And then, and then everything was shut down. And so then I didn't go to another con until some small ones locally. But my first big con was Holiday Matsuri just this past winter.
Okay.
Yeah.
How was that?
So that was great too. I mean, I met everybody. I got to hang out and stay with like Liz Wonder and Jake Foggy Night and 80 Super 80.
The squad.
Like stay with them. Like I was part of their like little group and it was such a pleasure to hang out with them. And then I met Alice and Tabitha and I got all sorts of amazing pictures with Ryan Sims. His photography is great. I'm like just dropping all these names right now.
No, which is I met
so many people, even other people that I use tutorials and like, other cosplayers like Downen Creative Studios, Beverly Downen. I admired her Hippolyta that I had just been making like when I first started. And then all sorts of people, Evil Ted. Do you know who Evil Ted is? He's
no
like
idea, but
all these, they're like, I'm a maker. So I'm like meeting all these makers of people at this con. It was amazing. And I got to display my Steppenwolf head. I don't know where he is. He's up on the bed over there. Like as a display. Like it was like a museum and like everybody could see my work.
Where was this con?
Holiday Matsuri was in Orlando and it's usually 2 weeks before Christmas time. So it's Orlando one. Yeah.
That is awesome because like one, you mentioned like people I became friends with pre-COVID and during COVID I became close friends, and to just be part of that, right? Like I'm not a cosplayer, right? I just know them because I follow them and I podcast. And at MegaCon, when I met most of these people, I was just like, I'm my buddy Cole. And Cole, you're probably listening. What up, Cole? Most of these people were sitting on the table, right? And he was like, hey, listen, most of my Instagram feed is sitting on this table. And I was like, how dope is that, right? Like, you know, we're all regular people. We all are, and it's like, Liz, Foggy, 80, even Allison. I haven't met Allison yet, although she was at MegaCon. I didn't know, and I would have looked for her because I had that New York Times article with her on there that I would love for her to sign for me one day. But we're all just regular people and heavily approachable, right? Just don't be a weirdo. Just say hello, have a conversation, and it's a beautiful thing. And what I realized was that you could just have a simple conversation with someone, and before you know it, you're part of the circle. Yeah. And that's what I learned this year. And again, at MegaCon, so many of these people were mentioning your name because you create Susie Creates. You create these cosplays, and you made yourself such a staple in this community. And and the biggest thing is when people say positive things when you're not around, you're doing a good job. And,
Yeah.
and when you agreed to jump on this podcast with me, I was like, oh hell yeah! Like, you know, like everyone's been talking about her. She has no idea. And I just want to make you aware that you've been part of good company, and they have nothing but great things to say about you. And they're probably to contact you for more things. So, hey, husband and kids, you better like stop bothering her. So con life, right? You know, you've been doing this for about 3 years, and obviously the last 2 years wishy-washy, right? Because COVID, obviously. But what are some ups you had besides meeting all these people? Like, I've heard several stories where like there's been dysfunctions or like or some things. Like, have you had one of those stories where like something happened and like a superhero came to help you?
I don't know. I guess I don't know what do you mean, like something
Like
got messed up?
I always hear stories of, like something rips and it's like, oh my god, or like a glue gun incident or something like that. If it hasn't, good for you. But listen,
No,
be aware because it happens.
I make good stuff.
Good.
No, I always carry a little tube of super glue somewhere.
Cool.
The very first con I went to, I did have like some things, like some of the vinyl pieces peeling off because I used hot glue and it just didn't stay. But I just know to just take super glue with me because it'll hold long enough. But yeah, I haven't had things like malfunction yet.
Good.
You know, I haven't been to very many cons for that to actually
keep making
happen.
good things. But no, that was it's funny because at MegaCon, a lot of us hung out by Liz's booth, and it ended up being like someone had a glue gun there, and it was the funniest thing. And it was like,
everybody,
who the F connect this up? And it was like, great. It ended up being like the one station where everyone came to get their stuff fixed, and I was like, ah, cool. That's a community, right?
Yeah.
What is have you had like a major like con moment where like you met someone, and it's tough because we also mentioned a lot of people you met, but like people that you were like you met and were like, whoa, like, oh, I finally met you. How did that go, and how did it get to that?
My moment is probably with Alice and Tabitha. So like I was going to home.
Story.
I was going to go to home and I knew that she lived in the area, and I didn't know if she was going. Like, we had become mutuals a few months ago or a few months back. Maybe it was more longer than that. Maybe it was like a year before that convention. And, you know, I was just like, hey, I'm going. I don't know if you're going or not, you know, just if you are, since it's in town. She's like, yeah, I think I might go. And then she was able to she probably got, you know, her entry because she did a panel, which she does. She's great at that stuff. And so she's like, so I was like, I don't know what you're going to be wearing which day. So she kind of coordinated with me. Like, I was like, okay, well, I can wear my Antiope or my Hippolyta on this one day that you said you're going to be there. And so, so she wore her Wonder Woman when I was wearing my Hippolyta so that we could have pictures together. And she was like, the crazy part was like, you know, we were just chatting back and forth, kind of getting, you know, timing and everything, because I had a photographer set up. And she was like, I'm struggling. I can't, like, I just, it's hard to tie a corset by yourself, kind of thing. In the back, just tie it. And I was like, I can just come help you. And she like was so sweet. And she was just like, please come help me. So like, I got to hang out with her like right away. Like, she welcomed me in, and like, it was like we were already close. And it was she was so welcoming. She was so awesome. It's like my little moment with Allison was like helping her get dressed in her Wonder Woman costume. But me dressed myself, like struggling to like bend over.
It's not just a little moment though. It's like, no, when you're looking at someone who does the work she does, right?
Put her up on a pedestal and like,
Well, yeah, you know, and when I started looking at cosplay, 5-6 years ago, I didn't know much about anyone, and I learned about her,
Mm-hmm.
and I looked at what she worked on and all this stuff. And I saw her in New York Times like a couple of months ago, and I was just like, "Fuck." New York Times has a cover piece on her, and I was like I knew she was good.
Yeah.
I knew she was great, and
Yeah.
but I never heard
the New York Post. New York Post.
Yeah, New York Post. Yeah, New York Post. I never heard a bad story about her. I never heard like any cosplayers saying anything negative. Everyone's saying how lovely she is and very humbled, and that's the most beautiful thing because someone that a lot of people put on a pedestal don't treat people as equals, and I just hear great stories about her. We've had Mark Knight Rises on the podcast, and he hung out with her at MegaCon a couple of years ago, and he just said nothing but great things. And it's like, for someone who has like over 1 million followers on Instagram, and building her TikTok was quickly approaching 1 million. It's like, how are you still humble, and that's the most beautiful thing. And it's just, I feel like I get the same thing with a lot of people in the cosplay community, that regardless, it's not, people look at numbers and like, think you have this statue or like have this like stigma or ego. And no, you're not. You're just like everyone else. And that's the most beautiful thing. So like you sharing the story about Allison, it's like great. The legend continues,
Yes, it does.
And that's a beautiful thing. Thank you for sharing that. But I'm ready to get into some of these pictures you shared with me, and just share with everyone like your art, your work. And we're gonna start. I'm gonna start from the top. Here we go.
This is my Antiope from Wonder Woman, both Wonder Woman films. She was in this particular costume was the same costume in both Wonder Woman in 2017 and then the most recent Wonder Woman 84. I made all of it, except for like the undergarments and the shoe, like boots. Like there's boots down there that I just bought boots and I built everything onto it. But
how long did this take?
That one took about, with props. Well, I built the headband like a year before I really started the rest of the costume. Maybe it wasn't quite a year, but it was a long time before, so I wouldn't count that. It probably took me about 3 months or so. That's my average.
Wow.
With that, yeah, because I was building the full props. The little knives, the strap, the bow, the quiver strap is like a crocodile. It looks like a crocodile spine, but it's actually EVA foam clay. That I shaped each one of those on there because I couldn't get the real thing. I couldn't find the real thing.
How did you learn about this clay?
Just makers group. So if I buy the material I work with, EVA foam, you go shopping in the store in the various other, things that they offer. And I watched YouTube tutorials on what people are using. And that one was just one that I wanted to try. So I got the cheap stuff from, the craft store, Hobby Lobby or something like that. And then I got the good stuff. It's just like clay, but it's soft. And then when it dries, it becomes a firm, like foam armor. So there you can see kind of the entire thing from the boots, the giant bow that I have, which is as tall as me. It's a 6 foot long bow, which is just PVC pipe and some paracord as the string. It's not real. Obviously, it's not quite the right shape either. But still, it's great. It's great as a prop. So
listen, it's pretty freaking legit. And
you can see she's right here on the screen, and there's me. And that one, I'm probably the most proud of that one. I really like to try for screen accuracy on a lot of my work. It doesn't have to be screen accurate. No one has to have a screen accurate costume, but that's a challenge for me that I really enjoy. And I think this one is probably one of my closest accurate ones.
It's freaking legit. And you said most of the suits is foam.
Yes. Some of this I used a lot of like vinyl pieces. So like the skirt pieces are real strong. Everything that you see there is EVA foam. The shoulder pad, the upper body, it looks like leather because I've textured it, or I've wrapped it in some fabric. But all of that is foam. Actually, some of the parts on the forehead are actually poster board or cardstock. Those kind of that thin. Yeah.
That's like,
yeah.
It just looks so good. Like, wow. And this was, how recent was this?
That was I took that at Holiday Matsuri with Ryan Sims. He did like all of these great, all my favorite Antiope shots. We still have to do some edits. We haven't gotten to these edits yet because he did some Wonder Woman edits for me recently, and he's always in very high demand. So we'll wait patiently for that one.
Yeah, but again, you're just 4 years into this, and look what you're making. I'm fascinated. Holy cow! I guess the next one I could go into is
Wonder Woman. That one is my favorite. That is like an edit. This is an edit, photo and edit by Ryan Sims. We took these photos. The only time I've ever hung out with Ryan Sims and had photos with him was at Holmat. And so we did 2 days worth, a different costume for each day. And I was like, I really want to be busting through the window like Wonder Woman. It's like one of my bucket list like shots, and he did it. And then he like 3D modeled this like scene in the background, and he just does the coolest thing. So he made me bust through.
Oh wait, wrong one. Sorry.
That's okay.
I'm jumping around. So many pictures.
Yeah, it's hard to kind of catch him.
I apologize. A lot of great pictures. Trying to find more Wonder Woman. I'm like going through all this. Well, I could somewhat touch on. No, I can't touch on this one. Yeah, I can. Let's just go here.
Sure. Yeah. So like I was saying, I got to meet Allison and hang out with her. And so we shot Antiope and Wonder Woman together. And we got to, I got to follow her around carrying her bags. Not really. got to crowd.
Do whatever you need me to do.
Yeah. No, I got to, wander around because we were trying to look for another woman that was dressed as an Amazon too, and we made it into a little group for some more pictures, and we were there until it got dark. I mean, it was great, but we were just, it was stopping just like you'd expect. We just like stopped every once in a while, and like we're chatting with people, and she was taking pictures, and she got interviewed in the middle of us like searching for somebody. But yeah, so like we took this shot, and I didn't even like think about it being so close to some of those initial like photos from the Wonder Woman film, like their costume tests or whatever that were there. And I just like, so Ryan Sims took that photo too. I just have like 3 or 4 great photos with Allison, and like, they're just look at us.
You're fucking perfect. I'll say it for you. I was staring at this and I'm like, are you kidding me?
It's amazing.
And you were like, I think you messaged me. You were like, I forgot 2 photos. And I looked at them and I was like, really? So, I had all the 2 photos you forgot. And
they're the same, but I wasn't sure if like we were like, well, let's put the side by sides, because I love side by sides and I love split screens. Because it shows off the hard work, that I try.
100%. And it's like, there's a picture you guys took that you didn't even think of, and look how great it looks compared. To the actual thing. And again, like I'm looking at like that's foam. Like
foam and vinyl.
I'm over here like that was amazing. Like and you worked on that. It's fascinating to me. I guess I took pictures of I sort of before. We're through some of your random work.
Yeah, these are fun. So I spent a whole year doing it because it was COVID. I spent like a whole year doing closet cosplays, and it was called Fandom Bound Friday. And so like every Friday I would go through, the day before or whatever, go through my closet and try and make up a character that I really liked. So like this is a gender bend Sven from Frozen.
Okay.
Like I was just like, what do I have in my closet and how can I make it similar to the character's outfit? And so like a lot of times there's like a scarf and a random belt and like I'm wearing leg warmers and boots. It's like whatever I could make
That's awesome.
Look like the character. Yeah. Just pieces from the closet or pieces from the craft box, like their fur pieces. Oh, Jack Sparrow. Of course, Jack Sparrow.
Wow,
and some real Captain Morgan.
Can't go wrong with this one.
It's a Friday.
Yeah.
No, so yeah, I would do that. It started because I wanted to wear something fun and fandom to work, and then we stopped going to work, so I continued to do it, but I got more and more involved. So like Friday morning, I would wake up before I started my work day and like do this and take a few pictures in my bathroom mirror, and then that would be my Friday fandom post. Like my Friday post was this like closet cosplay that I put together either that week or the day or two before. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, so there's probably, we'll see more. They're just totally random, and I just like love doing it. And there's a compass. I'm holding a compass in there.
Yeah,
it's actually a geology compass. It's a special geology tool that gives you like multiple levels of like balancing. So it's a real, like it's a real compass I'm holding. I can't point it on that far side. Yeah.
And a bottle of rum.
And a bottle of actual rum. I mean, yeah, I'm not showing the label because I don't know.
I'm sure most of us need that Friday morning.
During COVID, yes. So yeah, I did a Bucky and I did a duct tape hand. That was fun. And then I cut it off my hand.
Wait, that was all duct tape?
It's duct tape. It's duct tape. Yeah, I just
shit.
taped. I don't think I was wearing a glove underneath.
Please tell me you were wearing a glove or something.
I mean, it wasn't stuck to my hand, so I don't know if I did that or if I wrapped my hand in like plastic wrap or something. I know it wasn't stuck to me. Okay. But yeah, then I like cut it off and it was like still a hand shape because I like cut it so I could take it off. And It was like this extra hand. It was like a floppy. It was fun. I made the shield too. That's a foam shield. That's
really?
I made my husband a Captain America. Like when I first started learning all this stuff, it's okay. Yeah. It's still fun. And then, yeah, I made the foam shield. So like I had this thing. I'm like, let me just do this casual Bucky from.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. Giganta. I think somebody suggested that one to me. And I was like, I got this fabric, this cheetah print fabric, which was like from something like one of the discount stores at TJ Maxx or something. It was like a swimsuit cover up. And there's shorts and a little cover up thingy. And I was going to use it for Bad Barbara from the movie Wonder Woman 84. And before I had done that, like I like put this on and put on a red wig I had, and I was like, there it is. There's Giganta. And I'm tall and big, so I'm like, that's fun. I don't know the character too well, but I need to do it.
You're 6 foot without heels or anything.
Yes.
Oh, so you could high five me. Okay.
Yes. Cool. Yes. And I just happen to have very, very long arms too. Disproportionate. Oh yeah. So there's a duct tape. I got orange duct tape to make that little harness. From
oh my god, really?
Lilu. Yeah, Lilu. And I use like an app to color my hair orange. But that's like some regular pants, and I taped on the stripes with some like fabric fashion tape. It's just a ribbon, and then everything else is just in the closet. The shirt's just tucked in, and a belt, and some tan colored pants. And but yeah, I made that little duct tape thing the night before that, and just kind of stuck it together, cut it, and there's that.
Hey, you don't fuck around. That's awesome.
Belle, that one was pretty easy. It's just a dress and some towels.
What?
And an old
towels.
It's like a baby blanket, and then towel, just a regular kitchen towel. My Wonder Woman wig. Yeah.
Belle. A lot of people don't know this. I'm a sucker for Beauty and the Beast. It's like my go-to when I grew up. Because I always consider myself the Beast, right? I'm 6'7", and I was like this big dude. I always consider my Beast, but I love that storyline. I saw it on Broadway. It was phenomenal. I'm a sucker for Belle. Let's see. So here we got
Shira. It's Shira. I mean, it's like, I don't remember what version this was, probably animated. But like I just used like all sorts of stuff. So like the crown there is, if you look at your picture on the far corner, is Hippolyta's crown upside down. Yeah. And then like the gold Wonder Woman shoulder pieces and just some tall socks and Hippolyta's sword, and I stuck a little blue sticker on it. My Wonder Woman bracers, because they kind of look like that. So a cape, on a red cape. I just tied a red cape over top. And so
You don't mess
it's just
around.
fun.
You're really creative. Like, holy hell.
I did it for a year, and then I was like, I was running out of ideas. I couldn't do it anymore.
Before you know it, like you're Doug Funny, and like you have like your underwear in front of your pants.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, but that's awesome.
Yeah.
That is just out of your closet, trying to figure it out. And from your closet, you also had cosplays and stuff, and you used like regular clothes, and you made it fun during the pandemic. That's pretty sweet. Yeah. Now we're gonna hit some really detailed ones you did during this time. We're gonna start here. Ready?
Okay, yeah. So there's these are my 3 Wonder Woman cosplays. I just started with the red and blue classic Wonder Woman, but it's colored for Wonder Woman 84 because I had made the original colors, in a Halloween costume. I'm like, I'm going to make them different this time and make it bold and bright and colorful. And then later on, it was getting cold outside. So I was like, I'm going to make the cloak and the sword holster and everything.
There we go.
So there's both of those outfits. And then I made the gold Wonder Woman, the Golden Eagle Asteria armor. That one came second.
Was that foam too?
Yes. So it's a base suit. I bought like a Zentai suit pattern and had that made. And then it's all foam except for a piece around the neck, which is like painted vinyl. Like I use just as like a vinyl faux leather for a lot of things. So it's a soft piece on the neck, and then everything else is foam. And I used like gold paint rub and buff. Some people do like this fun gold wrap, but I couldn't do it, so I just painted it. But yeah, it's all the same. Rub and buff is like this little paint. It's like a wax, I guess, a gilding wax, and you have to like put it on and just rub it around until it gets shiny. So that one was like, I can't take that one off by myself.
Sure.
Like it's the legs because the armor pieces are like solid pieces. They're only 2 millimeters. They're really thin. But they don't like, I don't want them to bend and get wrinkled and stuff. So it's really hard to get that one on and off. I don't put it on very often, but I have a TikTok waiting that just needs me to put that costume on. I like put on 3 other costumes to make this thing, and I still haven't finished it because I've got this. Man. I have to put this one on for this one line in the middle of it. The things we do for TikToks and Reels or whatever. And then I just recently, a couple months ago, made the training armor Wonder Woman costume. That one I made in a week.
Ooh, look at you.
That was the fastest I've ever built something. Maybe it was a couple days more than a week because I think I started at the beginning of a weekend and then finished it. But yeah, I don't know. I had the itch. It had been on my list for like 2 or 3 years. I was just like, I really want to do this, and I had a con upcoming, so I kind of crunched it. But that was fun. It was fun. I was just like, I took a half day off of work to work on it.
Man, you even said F work. Look at you, geologist.
But that's why we have vacation days and paid time off. Like there's the reason for it, to do it, to use them, to do things that I want to do. So
mental health.
Half day. Exactly. So
that's awesome.
those are my 3 Wonder Woman cosplays so far.
Here we go. The next 3.
The next 3 are the other Amazons, I'm assuming. Yes. So these are the other Amazon costumes I have so far. We'll just say that because I collect Amazons now. I collect Amazons. From left to right is Zack Snyder's Justice League Old Gods Hippolyta. I made that one before going to Home Mat last year. That one took me a couple months. And that's all. That one has a lot more vinyl and real leather to it. I'm starting to expand my use of materials.
And cost?
I buy the scrap leather, or I've tried and find it on sale. So it's not like the only thing that's leather is like these strips in the back. I couldn't find a substitute that would work. So I got like some really thin, cheap leather. And then the center one is Antiope, General Antiope, the Amazon General, leader of the army. I have to have a super strong person, but Liz convinced me to make that one, or pushed me to make that one. And it was just like, I don't know. I swear she tells me what to do and I do it. But I'm so glad that one is probably my most like me. I feel like me when I'm in that one. And then the far one on the right is Queen Hippolyta. And she's won awards. She won 2 awards. So really? I can't put her up for any other contests. I entered them at the same time. And they're both online during COVID. So it was like, who would have known, like I would have gotten a win for either one. So it's gotten a master craftsmanship placement.
That's awesome.
My award. And then I also won for the very first Justice Con in 2020. I was the winner of the first place professional cosplay for that one. So
how was that? How did that feel?
That was awesome because that too, it was like putting me right next to Liz. Like we were the 2 professional winners. And they were like, we put you in the professional category. I'm like, I'm just a hobbyist. I don't know what you're talking about. I entered the hobbyist and like, the ladies that were in charge were like, no, you're gonna, and then they gushed over and it was great. So
yeah, but look where your hobby got you. Like, you're obviously very passionate about it, and you pay really great attention to detail. And
yes,
it's recognized, and I'm happy for you. You're right. You're not just recognized by professionals. You're recognized by the community. So it's a beautiful thing. The next 3P.
So these are some of the other ones. So I do have a Black Widow, which I mostly purchased that one. It was kind of short notice. I was going to do some like movie appearances just locally. And then it was like, we thought it was going to be coming back from COVID. Everything was opening up again. It started out because I was going to wear my gold Wonder Woman to the Wonder Woman 84 premiere. Anyways, didn't happen. So I had this Black Widow costume and I made the batons. I basically upgraded everything except for the belt because it was pretty cool. Upgraded the gun holsters, the Widow bites, the shoulder pads, and the backpack so that the batons would fit in the backpack. So I could actually it just folds over. It just kind of clasps on. And then Ruby Roundhouse in the center. She's the easiest cosplay I've ever put together. I made a belt and a harness, and that one started as one of those fandom bound Friday closet cosplays. I just kind of did something with a shirt and some shorts and some boots that are in my closet, and then I was like, I loved this. I'm going to make it a real cosplay. And so then I went and found all the proper parts and made some extra pieces and got a proper wig. And now I've even upgraded that. Just like a couple weeks ago, I added some of the details that have been sitting in my craft box for a couple of years. And she was like my favorite. I do so many like videos with her. I don't know, something about the character's personality from Jumanji. Sorry, I didn't even mention that. Ruby Roundhouse is from Jumanji, the Karen Gillan's character. And she just, her personality, she's way too much fun. So I do videos of her all the time.
You seem to have
she's the easiest to put on.
You seem to have a lot of fun on TikTok with that personality of hers.
Yeah. That's
good.
And then this other Wonder Woman was because Foggy Night was like, hey, you want to like just put on your Wonder Woman and do this one. I really want to do this one edit with you, which was I don't remember what episode it is. But yeah, we have it edited out there, and he's like, it's the line, it's the I don't want to mess it up. Anyways, we did this edit, and so he's like, you just put on your Wonder Woman and get this pose and take a photo, and we'll send it off to the editor. And I was like, you know what? I'm not just gonna put on my regular Wonder Woman costume. I'm gonna make one that gets closer. I'm gonna try and make it better. So I had a straight wig and threw that together with some other pieces for my closet. And so that's a different Wonder Woman that I threw together. Yeah.
And it came out great.
Yeah. Parts of the, standard Wonder Woman costume, and then pieces from a variety of other places that I had kept for a while. So
Nice.
yeah.
Since we're talking about Foggy now,
Mm-hmm.
we're going to go venture on something else that you do is you create props and things for a lot of the cosplayers in the same circle or outside of it. But we go into this first prop.
Yes. So it's kind of started as I wanted to make some, instead of my giving, my passion, the thing that makes me happy is making things for people, making my kids costumes, making my husband a costume, even though he doesn't really care about costumes. And so I decided, since I was going to meet all these people at a whole mat, that I would make stuff for them and bring with me, surprise them. And so I actually had something else in mind for Foggy Night, Jake, and it didn't come in time. So I was like, and it ended up being a scam. I didn't get it anyways. But I was like, I want to make you something, what's something that you would really like? And he's like, that spear would be awesome. And I'm like, yes, I have an old lamp that's broken, like the pole from one of those tall light poles. Yeah. So you can unscrew it into two pieces. And I'm like, I'm going to do this. This is going to be awesome. And so that's the spearhead. And that kind of shows you like what it looked like, the green paint in the shade and then in the sunlight. And it's actually glow in the dark paint or black light paint.
Awesome.
Black light paint.
Okay.
And then I weathered it. On the bottom one is the weathered. I added like the dark black grimy look. So that's just kind of like showing how I create it. Just as is, what it really looks like, the textures, and then completing things is weathering and making it look old and dirty and real. So yeah, I made that BBS spear to go with his whichever Batman he wants to use it for, or Superman. I mean, he can use it with Superman too.
Yeah, he could. Yeah. My boy Foggy Night. Hey Jake, yeah. What up, man? You also worked on several other things for the cosplayers. Yeah. I'm sorry, I'm going down.
Yeah.
Just going down the stream of pictures. Here's another friend of mine.
Sam Sandula.
Yeah.
And she looks so much like Angelina Jolie, and she approached me. She's like, "Hey," because I had never really made a full costume for someone else before. I made like bracers, Wonder Woman bracers, or just simple things for people. But then I loved the way the costume looks. So when I get in my brain that I love the way something looks like a costume and I really want to make it, I'm like, hell yeah, let's do this. So I helped make sure that the undersuit design was right. Like I worked on this before the movie came out. So you
did the whole costume for her?
Yes. Well, the undersuit was designed by someone else, but I was like, okay, do this because here's where the lines are. And this is the textures that we see. I can't remember who did that one. But yeah, there's an undersuit design. But then I made all the armor for it and the skirt and the spear too. So I did it all. And I actually have a pattern available on my Etsy for that, all the foam armor pieces for that outfit. If anybody wants to go purchase and make their own, there's a full pattern and a partial pattern if you didn't want to make the breastplate, which is a lot of work.
I remember, I forgot what day Sam wore that. I think Sam wore that. Was it the Friday in New York Comic Con?
Oh yeah, we were rushing to get it. No, I think it was Was it the Saturday?
Maybe it'd probably be the Saturday because I think the Friday she wore her and Jason the boy did the Free Guy.
Free Guy, yeah. Because I was rushing to get that to her because we were. It was the undersuit that was taking forever to get here from overseas, from the print costumes people. So yeah, it was rushing to send it to her and get her to her on time. Sent it basically to Jason's office.
That makes sense.
To get it to take it to her. So
sounds like a good group of people. Here's I guess.
So that's from competition. This is just one example of building
from competition.
Cosplays. Yeah, so this would be when you enter a competition for a costume, you have to submit your work in progress stuff. So that's where I think it's really important when you're building something that you just take random pictures along the way. So I started with a pattern. I checked the pattern on myself. I made a base form. I drew on that. I added layers. You can kind of see I worked through patterns on paper, like that little eagle, and then I've transferred it to the layers of the foam. But this is an example of one page of like 10 showing all the pieces, all the stages that I did for, this is Hippolyta, the queen, and kind of what I worked on.
Is this another one? Yeah, this is another one.
So this is the one that I posted that was like, that I happened to like thank Allison for her tutorials. But that's, that started with up from upper left down to lower right, the base, thermoplastic, the patterning, the layers, the primer. It looks like silver, but it's black. The primer because the sun is out. And then again, the base paint, and then the final product on the far right.
Oh yeah, so when you're competing, in what sense do you have to like send this out or have the proof of you doing this?
So it is, so like usually you have to apply for the competition to be in there. And then you do have to submit this book, this work in progress book, which kind of explains all of your what materials, how you built it, shows pictures of you working on it or the different stages. And then when you get there, then they look you over, you tell them the best parts about it, the hardest thing you did or the favorite part. And then they judge you on how well you did, either to match reference pictures. And that could be, that could be like a cartoon. It doesn't have to be like some crazy detailed thing. And your craftsmanship and how it's put together. And that's kind of how competition works. Mm-hmm.
I had no idea. This is something I just learned. Here's another piece.
So there's the actual pieces. So those are all the pieces that I physically made for Samantha. And it has different layers of Velcro, and the paint was crazy.
How do you balance everything? Like it's
they're like, so yeah, like the shoulder pieces are tucked in. The arm bracers are like, there's a Velcro piece on the wrist, and so I just put a pin. It's pinned on to see it. You can see I put something under the butt in the middle one so I could stick out because it was all flat. It's like a folded up towel.
That's amazing. Yeah. But like, how do you balance the time to like, again, earlier I introduced you, here you are, you're a cosplayer, you create, you're also a mom, a geologist. So like you're busy, how do you, and it's not, the question is not how do you find time? How do you make time for everything? Because finding time is one thing, but when you lose sleep and do these other things is a whole different ball game.
Yeah, well, I try not to lose sleep. I'm pretty good about going to bed at like 10:30.
Good for you.
Get up.
Not today.
No. Well, it's only 10 o'clock for me here right now.
Oh, you're good. So you'll be in bed in no time.
I'm good. And if I have 15 minutes to work on a piece that I want to work on, I'll do that. I'll come home at lunch a couple times a week if I have the time. Luckily, I'm not that far away. It's not much of a commute. So if I get 30 minutes, 40 minutes in at lunch, that could be sewing a piece on, gluing some pieces together. And then a couple nights a week, I get a couple hours after the kids go to bed and before it's bedtime to be appropriate. And then the weekends, I get a good couple hours in. But it's important that we have time with my husband and the kids on the weekends, and they have activities, and I have to do the dishes, my days of the week that we that we plan out. And it's just, I don't have any wasted time. Like I don't want to.
You're really good at time management.
I'm old enough that there's no longer a need to just sit. Actually, every time I sit down on the couch and watch a TV show, I'm out.
What am I doing?
Because my body's like, oh, you're relaxed.
Yeah.
That means it's bedtime, right? So,
good night. That's good to know. We're going to go through a couple of more pictures. And of course, today I mutual friend's birthday, and I want to go through some of the things you did for her.
Yeah.
Here,
Yeah,
Here's
Sarah.
Seattle's Beauty.
Seattle's Beauty. Mm-hmm.
Sarah,
Yeah.
happy birthday. We're
Happy
recording today.
Yeah. Yeah, I just caught her on a live earlier and I was like, hey, happy birthday. And I'm having an appointment later. I just watched your show. And so, yeah, so here I made her Wonder Woman bracers. I was opening it up last year. I was like, anybody that wants, I'm going to make a bunch of these. I don't charge a whole lot. So I made her the bracers and arm hand wraps. And then,
Nice.
And then the other one I made her were just some simple accessories. We're like slowly building up to what's coming next for her.
Nice.
She's been great. She's so sweet and easy to work with, and she trusts me, which is really great.
It's huge. Yeah.
Yeah. So we're gonna do a big one soon, but I can't talk about it because she wants to keep it quiet until it's
100%.
time. So it's really hard for me to do because I want to show like, hey, look what I did. Like, this is cool. But I can't.
No, 100%. And that's the beauty of it. Like, I had her on the podcast, obviously my last podcast, and we shared some things that we can't talk about, but I'm so excited for everything she's working on.
Yeah.
That's just part of the community.
Yeah.
Here you are.
I made, basically she wanted to do Donna Troy comic book, and it was all these accessories, the armbands, the wrist cuffs. They were really simple. This was not a crazy project, but then the belt actually used its foam. I learned how to use foam to make it look like it was fabric. So it's hard to see there, but it is. It's like folded pieces. It's pretty. Every once in a while, I'm like, I'm going to try this new thing. Do you trust me to try this new thing? So.
That's the magic with the foam, because the foam has gotten me confused for so long. Here's a clip which I haven't showed yet. So,
So that's my big thing, was that this past year I happened to be one of six or seven cosplay winners for DC fandom, and so chosen by DC, and that's Jason's photos.
Jason the boy.
So that was the extra. This happened during the release of the early release of Zack Snyder's Justice League, when like everybody was getting early screenings of it. So like I drove down to Dallas on it was again last minute. I'm like, hey, I've watched Jason's stuff on socials forever, and I'm like, and he's saying he's going to Dallas to like see the exhibits there that were on display. And I was like, I'm not that far. I'm just going to take a day off work again, take a day off work for cosplay. And I was like, hey, Jason, I know you don't really know me, but if you're going to be there, can we just shoot with my giant Steppenwolf head? I will drive down and meet you.
And
we'll fit it in.
He loved it.
And he did. And then I happened to get a call from Liz. She's the best. She called me and was like, hey, do you have like a computer or some way to get on? We're going to be on the Snyder Cut red carpet. And I was like, oh my God, I'm literally like an hour away from home. I don't have anything. I stopped at a Best Buy and bought a laptop.
No way.
Returned it the next day or the day after that, so that I could like join the red carpet with my giant Steppenwolf head, and that's out there too. And that was so exciting. That's like a huge day. So that was what we were replicating was Zack Snyder's original vision. And little did we know that it was actually in the movie. We did this before we saw the movie.
That's awesome.
And it was just, Jason killed it. Like he got the right shot. It was, Jason's
one of those guys that I met him and I was like, hey man, I follow your work. I've been trying to get him on the podcast, but he's been, he's very dedicated to his 5 a.m. workouts. And so am I sometimes, but like I slack, but he has very good discipline. And I'm like, I gotta get to that. But we chatted, and I think he just had like a surgery recently, and I'm like, I have to wait a little longer to ask him. But I'm pretty sure I'll see him in New York Comic-Con and then have a conversation with him and get him on the podcast. But he's one of those guys that's just so well known in the community. And we were taking a selfie together, and he was just like, oh no, you got to aim the phone this way because the lighting and the sun's over there. And I was just like, You're giving a tutorial in less than 30 seconds, bro. Like I'm taking better pictures just like that. Just because having a 30-second conversation with you. He's such an overall great guy. And there's more and more of that the more I meet people in this community. It's just like it's everyone trying to help each other out, and it's just a beautiful thing. I guess one of the last pictures I'm going to show, and then we're going to go through what I'm going to start doing a new little speed round. Okay. I haven't shared this one yet, I guess, but we spoke about it earlier.
Yes. So that's the full shot of Allison and myself.
So you're both pretty tall.
Watching. Yes. I'm about 2 inches taller than her. I mean, we're both wearing about the same heels. So yeah, I'm a little bit taller.
I was like, oh wow! I looked at that. I was like, oh, you're both pretty tall. Look at that.
Yeah.
All right, I'm not that tall, thank God. All right, so thank you for sending me those pictures over. Like, wow.
Yeah.
Honestly, like, for someone who's only been doing this for 3 to 4 years, what a resume.
Yeah.
I know a lot of my friends, a lot of the cosplay people I met already, they mentioned you and all this stuff, and it's a beautiful thing. But I'm going to start this thing similar to the Bat Force Radio team normally has this thing called was it like a fast round of asking questions. And I haven't done it. I haven't been in the mood to, but I feel like, it adds a little something, and it shows people like just randomness of who you are and whatnot. So if you can't answer it, you can't answer it. It is what it is. But one of the biggest questions when it comes to the Bat Force is Shake Shack or In-N-Out Burger?
Would you believe I've never tried either of those?
Oh man. So what is your favorite burger place?
There's a little, honestly, there's a little hole in the wall. Okay. There's a little hole in the wall here. That is amazing. It's literally a shack. It holds about 12 people, like 8 at a bar.
Those are the best.
Like the grill has been seasoned for like 3 decades.
It only gets
amazing. Better. Yeah. It's just local here. It's one of those, you have to get there and then you stand outside until there's a spot to sit down.
What's the name of that place?
There's no space. And then I don't even remember what the name of the place is. No, it's a guy's name. It's
there's a place in Jersey. There's a place in Jersey similar like that. It's a truck stop. Yeah. And it's I can't even think of the name of it. Fuck. I failed. Okay. So I'll think of it in like a few minutes, and then okay.
That's what it was.
But if you ever go to New York, go to Shake Shack. If you go to Cali, look for In-N-Out Burger.
Yeah.
And ask them what the best thing is. You definitely do that. Here's another one, and this could be tough too. Chicago deep dish or New York style?
Oh, New York style. I don't like thick, like it's heavy sauce. I like.
Have you had Chicago?
Yes.
In Chicago?
I grew up in Cleveland, and then I went to school in Minnesota, so it's all in that region. I'm not that far away. So
I went to C2E2 last year, and everyone was like, "You have to go Illuminati's," and I was like, "All right, cool." So I went there for Chicago deep dish, and I was highly impressed.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was like, you know what? Like, that's not fair. It's not fair to me to go to like the best place for pizza in Chicago for a deep dish. So I went to like a random place, and I was so pissed. I was, you know what? It's like
we lost your mic.
Can you hear me now?
There you are. You're back.
All right, cool. I have to cut this off. So I went to this place, Illuminati's, and I was like, the worst part is it's like going to a good steakhouse and then going to Outback.
Mm-hmm.
I failed myself.
Yeah.
So now I'm like,
I
shit, I can never go to anywhere else. Chicago deep dish. So yeah, New York. That's awesome. All-time favorite movie.
Well, it's Wonder Woman.
Okay.
If you made me choose a non-superhero movie, it would be Pride and Prejudice with Keira Knightley.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you for both of those.
Yeah.
Okay. If you could eat one food for the rest of your life, what would it be? And it could be like a category, like not a full category. Like for me, my answer is pizza because you can put mad toppings on it. So what would be your one food to eat for the rest of your life?
I'm like, I love like Asian foods, like anything that's like stir fry style, anything like that. You can throw veggies, meats, sauces, that or mac and cheese. Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah.
What's like the longest thing you've eaten like in that category? Like I think I went like 4 days of just eating pizza.
I mean, I probably have like Asian food like 4 times a week.
All right, cool.
So like, I eat that very regularly. There's
like
a great
Asian,
Thai place.
like there's Chinese food, like or noodles or like pad Thai.
No, like pad Thai curries, like spicy meats with stir fry style, like all the variety. I don't discriminate between the Asian flavors.
What is your favorite season?
My favorite season.
Which is tough because
yeah. I actually do like spring, partially because of Oklahoma, because I love the storms. I love storms. I'm not afraid of them or anything like that. So
it's soothing.
Yeah, I love the storms, even when they wake me up with a explosive thunder in the middle of the night. It's still fun.
That's kind of soothing as long as you're not taking a bath or something. Favorite fast food.
Favorite fast food, Taco Bell.
Yeah. Taco Bell wins every single time.
Okay. Yeah. And have you ever ordered Taco Bell from one of the kiosks?
No.
Okay, if you ever get into a Taco Bell where you can order from a kiosk, do it because you can personalize it and like add sauces and like double up. They have sauces in there that I didn't even know that they had. Like
I just get Diablo.
No, there's not like taco sauce, like creamy avocado, chipotle, like all sorts of stuff you can put on your tacos and stuff.
Okay. All right.
You can personalize it. Just like you can add to your order and add sauce. Idea. Try it. Just go to the kiosk and try it out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then no, listen, because like Taco Bell's fucking amazing. Yeah. Have you seen those TikToks where these companies yelling at each other? There's the one guy like he's just mouthing off and he's just like he's Lowe's and then he's also like the Home Depot and then like Ace Hardware comes out and he's yelling at Ace Hardware and he's like, oh, we're the best ever. And then Taco Bell comes out of nowhere and like you're not even part of this argument. And he's like, yes, I am. It's one of the best TikToks.
I'll have to look them up. Yeah, definitely.
I'll send you those going forward. But it's so funny because Taco Bell's always involved, even like with the planets. It's so weird. Favorite genre of music?
I like regular radio pop, whatever's kind of popular.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
That question is weird for me because I had no idea.
Yeah.
Like I jump from like hip hop, pop, or like country. It's funny because people are like, you like country? I'm like, you have no fucking idea what I like. I fucking love country. You know, Zack Brown's around. Zack Brown's like a Dave Matthews for me. Like you have to go to the concert and have a good time. But I grew up with rap and stuff, so there's that. And then I'm asked a question. This is a popular question when it comes to the Bat Force. What's a question you want to ask the next guest? I'm not sure who the next guest is.
Yeah.
Lainey, it could be you. Tim from TNS Management, it could be you. I'm not really sure. What's a question you would like them to ask? And you never know if the question is that good. It could be a question that gets added to this.
Okay, here's one. if you got recognized as a famous person, like you looked like someone said, "Oh, are you?" Would you claim that and say yeah, or would you tell the truth?
Okay, that's actually a good one because never really know, right?
Yeah.
I gotta write that one down. I gotta write down as a famous person. Claim it or nah. Cool. And that comes from Susie.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good one. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
Thanks for being the first participant of the question round. That being said, the last question I have for you, and the most important one, of course, is like, do you have a message for anyone who's watching or listening to the podcast that pertains to like your expertise in what you're doing right now?
Yeah. So I like to make things, and so I just want to say that everyone should try and can make things. If you start and it's not great, don't stop, because the next time you try to make something or you try to make that thing again, it will be better. Yeah. It will be better. And every time you do another one, it will get better. And if you take your time and try and put in effort, then you're going to be amazing in no time at whatever it is. But particularly, since we're talking cosplay and crafting, and then ask people that you admire to help you, because they probably will. And if they don't, because that's what our community should be about, is helping each other learn, teaching things, and giving the information out so that we can all be better.
I love that. I want to thank you for jumping on and taking time of your day. I know it's not easy, especially, you have so many titles and so many to take care of. It's not easy jumping on, of course, now right now it's close to your bedtime. Thank you for jumping on and sharing your story and giving people advice and just guiding other people in the community towards a direction where they want to be successful. It means a lot.
Mm-hmm.
If for those of you, make sure that if you want to follow Susie, follow her on IG. Susie Creates cosplay. She's also on TikTok. You have a great time. Follow her on TikTok. It's Susie_Creates. It's a fun time. Trust me.
Yeah.
Any other platforms in which people can find you?
I'm on Twitter. I believe I'm either Susie Creates cosplay. I think it's Susie Creates cosplay there. I had to, there was one of those times where I couldn't add cosplay to my name, so I'm on Twitter.
Yeah, Twitter's too long. Do that.
Yeah. So it's the same thing there. I don't know if with spaces or dashes.
Yeah.
And then I'm on Vero, and I have a YouTube channel. It's just one of those things that it's really difficult to add more time to my day to go work on that. But I have a couple things on there, same name. I have an Etsy store with some patterns, same name. Everything Susie Creates cosplay. And then I think that's it. Twitter, TikTok, Vero, Instagram, Etsy, YouTube.
You're busy. Again, thanks so much for taking time out of your day and jumping on. I know it's not easy. There's so many titles and so much going on. For everyone watching and listening, please make sure to follow her on any of those platforms. Please make sure to reach out. She's one of the most reachable people on social media when it comes to cosplay and stuff. She's more willing to help. Total sweetheart. So knowledgeable. Just a jack of all trades. And if you have the opportunity to reach out to her, just do so humbly. Don't be disrespectful. Learn, make sure that your time and her time is taken at full capacity. Thank you again for jumping on. For anyone who's watching and listening, make sure you follow the podcast, subscribe, like, comment, and thank you very much, everyone, for watching. I hope this podcast was very informative and useful for anyone who's watching and listening. And until next time, Thank you for participating, guys. You guys have a good one.
It was a pleasure. Thanks.